is Jenna, and today I'm going to be doing my movie and television show wrap up for the month of January 2020. I'd put a disclaimer in here about how I watched a lot of television and movies in January 2020, but like at this point, you all know I watch a lot of television. I also read a lot, I play a lot of video games, and somehow I managed to have a full-time job and get YouTube done. Not saying I'm superwoman, but like, you know. So pretty much we're just gonna jump right in. I don't even know, we got what, 13 television shows and 11 movies to talk about, so yeah, we're just gonna jump right in. So the very first TV show that I watched in January was Lost in Space Season 2. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This season was a little rocky for me, especially when it came to the middle of the season. So the first part of the season, like the first couple episodes, were really, really good, and the ending was beyond amazing. But the middle, it kind of struggled. It didn't really know what it wanted to do, where it wanted to go. The one thing I will say about the beginning though is it started to become a theme where these characters, they would be put in, you know, near-death experiences like every single episode, and I started to think, and I still kind of think, that none of them can actually die, because there are multiple times when I'm like, you should be dead. And that's starting to get a little bit on my nerves, because it's kind of like, yes, it's a science fiction show, so it's not super realistic, but there has to be some semblance of realism in the show, and the fact that all of these characters just keep defying death episode after episode, it's making it a little hard to follow. The ending though was phenomenal and emotional as hell. Like, I was sobbing. I was not ready for what happened to happen, and I'm praying for a season 3, because like that cliffhanger is possibly worse than the cliffhanger at the end of season 1, so like I need to know what happens next. Second TV show I watched was a rewatch, and that was season 2 of The Fosters. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. If you haven't ever watched The Fosters, I highly recommend it. It is a fantastic show. It's a real family show, but it is centered around LGBT and diversity and just fitting in and being a teenager but living in a family. It covers a lot of things. Season 2 mostly covers losing, so like not exactly a miscarriage, but like when you think you're pregnant and you lose the baby. It covers a lot of things to do with foster kids and identity theft and just learning to be in a family. There's a lot of coming to terms with sexuality. Season 2 is just a bit of a mishmash of everything, and I really loved it. Third TV show I watched this month was another rewatch, and that was season 7 of Doctor Who. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Season 7 of Doctor Who is and always will be one of my favorites. This is the season where the first 5 episodes are with Amy and Rory, and then the last episodes are with new companion Clara. Watching those 5 episodes with Amy and Rory is heartbreaking, because watching them leave is devastating. And then the first part with Clara, season 7, is where Clara really shone as a companion. She was very good with Matt Smith. It's also Matt Smith's last season, and he is really giving it his all. I also rewatched the 50th anniversary special and the Christmas special where he left, and I was just like a mess. Great season of a show that I loved. Don't love it as much anymore, but I loved it back then. Fourth TV show that I watched this month was one that I finished, and that was High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 1. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. So the thing about High School Musical, the musical, the series is, number 1, the title is so stupid, but I can't not say the full title every time I'm talking about the show, which really bugs me. Number 2, I did not like the first 3 or 4 episodes. I really didn't like the pilot. I really didn't like episodes 2 and 3. Towards the end of 3 and 4, I was kind of like, yeah, you know, maybe I can get behind this. And then I watched episode 5 and was like, this is what I wanted. Like this, if episode 5 had been like the first episode, I would have loved the show from the beginning, but I didn't. So episode 5 onwards is when it really started to pick up, and we focused less on idiotic drama and more on actual like attention grabbing drama, which I loved. The show is very diverse. We have a lot of LGBT representation. There's a whole storyline with divorce. There's a whole storyline with this idea of being, it was very Gabriella-esque in that she's pulled away from her family all the time and pulled away from her friends all the time. She keeps moving around the country because of her mum's job, and it just became a whole thing. I also didn't love the first few episodes because the cast for a lot of the songs were singing live, and it just sounded wrong, which is really weird to say, but it did sound kind of wrong. But I do have to say, I absolutely love that they actually cast actors who could pass for high school students. In fact, the majority of them are under 18, so you know, they actually are high school students, which I loved. But it was also nice to see that like everyone they cast, they can sing, some better than others, and they're not all the most like incredible singers ever, which I really loved. And the original songs they wrote for the show, apart from one, and that's A Billion Sorries, which was AJ's song, and that song is garbage. The rest of the songs are really good, and I love that Olivia Rodriguez, who plays Nini, who is playing Gabriella in High School Musical, she's written a couple of the songs for the show, and that's really cool as well. So all in all, by the end of the season, I was sobbing and really happy for them, but at the beginning I was like, this is garbage, why am I watching it? So you know, kind of balanced out. Fifth TV show was one that I finished watching in January, and that was The Mandalorian season 1. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Mandalorian is the first live action Star Wars television show, and I didn't didn't know what to expect from it going in, and what we got was not what I expected. There were a lot of rocky moments in the show for me that I didn't particularly love, but overall I thought the storyline was mostly fairly solid. I can kind of see where they're gonna go in season 2, but I didn't love that we didn't have like I thought what was gonna happen is by the end of the season I thought we were gonna have this, you know, he would have collected his team and then we'd go forth from there, but that's not quite what happened. So the best part about it is Giancarlo Esposito plays like the ultimate bad guy and he is great, but until you get to those last few episodes, nothing really connects to each other. Like the episodes are just kind of random side quests. It's basically random side quests that keep distracting him from the main quest. So I didn't love that about the show, but overall it was pretty solid for a first season. I'm really looking forward to the second one. Sixth TV show I watched this month was another rewatch, and that was Modern Family seasons 1 to 2. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The first seasons of Modern Family in particular are fantastic. I love the family dynamic, and I love that so many of the episodes and so much of what they're talking about is just really normal stuff, like the fact that Haley and Alex are constantly fighting and all of that kind of thing. It's family, and I love that. I love seeing family on screen, but I mean, like, the families are different and whatnot, but at their core, they're all the same, and that's what I love about the show. Seventh TV show I watched this month was another rewatch. That was season 1 of Younger. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Younger, I am watching again because I need to remind myself that I want to get into publishing. Well, not remind myself I want to get into publishing, but remind myself that publishing is my goal, and I can get there, and that's sort of why I'm rewatching this show, because it's all about publishing. I mean, it's mostly about Liza and, like, pretending to be 26, but, like, a big part of it is publishing. Also, it does make me kind of happy that she's 26 when she gets a job in publishing, because that's what age I'm going to be when I try to get into the industry, so ish. The 8th TV show I watched this month was season 8 of The Office. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. The Office has gone so downhill since Michael left. I really didn't love season 8. I thought it didn't know where it was going. It was really struggling. It didn't have sort of a coherent, well-adjusted storyline. The jokes were getting kind of stupid, but I like it enough that I'm going to keep watching it. Like, I want to finish the show to say that I've watched it all, but season 8, like the whole thing with Nelly, and it wasn't good. The 9th TV show that I watched this month was season 1 of You. I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars. I do not understand the hype. It was a terrible show. From the very like opening scene, I knew exactly how the show was going to end, and that bugged me because everyone was sort of who was telling me to watch it was like, oh my god, you'll never see the ending coming, and within the first 5 minutes I was like, how did you not see that ending coming? That is the only logical explanation for what is going to happen here. Not that it's logical what happened, because everything that happened was stupid, but I just couldn't get over the fact that the main character Beck was really stupid, and I couldn't get over that. Like she lives on the ground floor in a street facing apartment in New York. She doesn't have curtains, so just at night when her lights are on, the whole street can see what she's doing. So of course when she's having sex, which is a lot by the way, the whole street sees it, and I'm kind of like, dude, get yourself some curtains. It's just a whole thing. So I didn't like Beck. I hate Joe. The cast was stupid. The concept of the show is great and it's creepy as hell, but it was not executed well at all, and it was just stupid, and I just hated everyone, and I wanted them all to die. I would have been okay if everyone had killed each other. Like, it would have been totally fine. Don't know if I'm gonna keep watching that show, but like, I will just be praying for the day when this guy gets his comeuppance, because he's so stupid, he deserves it. 10th TV show I watched this month was The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 3. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Part 3 was just as creepy as the first 2 parts, but I think the show is sort of struggling a little bit. So obviously the first part was all about Sabrina having to choose whether or not she was going to embrace her witch half or whether she was going to keep her mortal half. Going into part 2, we had more of that. Part 3 was just, it felt a little jumbled at times, so it kind of felt like it didn't know what it was doing right until the very end. The very end was just like, what is happening? But there were a few rocky moments in the middle, and there were times when I was kind of like, what are you guys trying to do? Like, there's a lot going on here. But overall, I really did enjoy it, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to part 4. The 11th TV show I watched this month was Dracula Season 1, the new BBC show. Almost almost everyone loves the first 2 episodes. They think the first 2 episodes are incredible and amazing, and they hate the 3rd episode with an absolute passion. And this is most people. This is like the general consensus, my friend especially. He messages me and he goes, oh, the first 2 episodes are amazing, don't even bother with the 3rd one. And I was like, okay. And then I watched the first episode and it was terrible. It was predictable as hell. It was boring. It was not imaginative at all. It was not what I was expecting. I was expecting a cool retelling kind of thing like Moffat and Gatiss did with Sherlock. That's sort of what I was expecting. So I did not like the first episode, gave it 2 stars. Second episode I gave the second episode 3 stars because it got mildly better and mildly more interesting, but not by much. And then we got to the 3rd episode that everybody seems to hate, and I loved it. I thought the 3rd episode was fantastic. That one got a 4 out of 5 stars because it did what I wanted it to do. It took the story of Dracula, but it twisted it a little bit, modernized it, and still made it good and enjoyable. It was still a little bit predictable, but it's Dracula. Of course it's predictable. Dracula does the same things. He makes wives and he kills people. That's what he does. So obviously it's going to be a predictable story. What wasn't predictable was the ending, and that's what I love so much about it, because the ending to me made perfect sense. I thought it was a fantastic way to update and modernize Dracula, but I know my friend hated it. He was like, this is not Dracula and yada yada. I'm like, well, it's not meant to be Dracula. So that was a whole thing. But yes, I personally loved the 3rd episode. I was thinking about a particular scene in the 3rd episode for hours after it happened because it was so it was creepier than anything I'd seen in the first 2, and it just, oh, made my skin crawl. It was just so, but the ending as well I thought was really great, and I liked episode 3 way more than episodes 1 or 2 because they were not good. 12th TV show I watched this month was another rewatch. That was The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody season 1. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I love Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It's great. It's fantastic. It's something fun to put on. All the characters are fun, and it's a fun time. 13th show that I watched this month was season 4 of The Good Place, which is the final season. I give this one a 5 out of 5 stars. The finale actually dropped on my birthday, so my birthday evening I spent sobbing basically because the ending of The Good Place was fantastic, and season 4, season 4B is what we watched, and it was just so different from anything I was expecting, but it was the perfect ending for it, and it was the ending that made the most sense, and that's what I loved. They had a lot of really fun, cool cameos in the finale, and they brought back a lot of characters that we hadn't seen, and everyone really got the ending I would expect them to have, and it was great. It was heartbreaking, but it was brilliant. Moving on to the movies that I watched this month, the first movie was a rewatch. That was Barely Lethal. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I watched this with my cousin because I love Haley Steinfeld and Dove Cameron, and they're in this movie together, and it's just a lot of fun. We decided to watch it because, you know, why not watch a film about a teenage assassin who decides she's gonna fake her own death and go and actually be a teenager. It's a real stupid concept. It's kind of a stupid movie, but it's also just a really fun one, and I really enjoy it. Second movie I watched this month was another rewatch, and that was Zombies. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't have a lot to say about Zombies except for the fact that I never wanted to watch it because I thought it'd be stupid, and it is kind of stupid, but now I kind of love it, and I'm really excited for Zombies too. Third movie I watched this month was Jumanji: The Next Level. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a really, really well done sequel to Welcome to the Jungle. I do wish they'd sort of explained a little more about how we were getting to different levels and had different characters in the game, because that wasn't really explained. But I did love the teenagers got a lot more to do in this film because they are definitely friends outside of the game now, and it just worked really well, I thought, and I did like the new characters that we got. And also there was a cameo at the end of the film that I was not expecting, but I loved because it ties into the original and just makes me so happy. I think they sort of left the film open for a 3rd or 4th film, which honestly I would be totally okay with, but I don't know how they would do it considering what happened at the end of the film. Fourth film I watched was another rewatch, and that was Transformers. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't have a lot to say about the Transformers films except that sometimes it's really just fun to turn your brain off and watch a bunch of humans try to fight monsters. Not even monsters, robots from another planet. Sometimes it's just fun. In fact, it's so fun that the 5th film I watched this month was another rewatch, and that was Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, which I also gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's just great because there are so many many movies out there now that you really have to concentrate for and you have to really think about, and sometimes you don't want to do that. You just want to watch robots blowing up other robots. If you ever want that, the Transformers franchise, really good way to go. Then Emily and I had a bit of a Disney Channel marathon, so the 6th film I watched this month was a rewatch. That was Camp Rock. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Camp Rock is great. It was so much fun to go all the way back there. I don't know the words to those songs much at all, which is really sad, but also it was hilarious to go back to the, I think Camp Rock was 2008, I think, and going back to the 2008 fashion is hilarious. But I loved it. It was a lot of fun. 7th film I watched was another rewatch. That was Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam. Gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I actually like The Final Jam more than the first film. I really do enjoy the first film, but I like Final Jam better. I'm not entirely sure why. I just think the songs are better, the story is a little bit better, and it's more fun of a film, I guess. I don't know. Hard to explain, but I do like that one better. 8th film we watched was another rewatch, and that was Lemonade Mouth. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Lemonade Mouth may be one of my favorite Disney Channel films of all time. It always makes me cry. It's got incredible songs, an incredible story, and it's very different from what Disney has done in the past and does continue to do, but I think it's one of their better, more important films, and one that I think everyone should watch. I love it. It's fantastic, and I've had those songs stuck in my head for days now. 9th film I watched was another rewatch. That was Starstruck. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This is another just really fun, random Disney film that popped out, and it was really interesting because it did sort of show us things from a celebrity's point of view, and we got to see how hard it is for them with the paparazzi and whatnot, while still getting the fun experience of experiencing, you know, life with a celebrity, because you too can end up dating a celebrity if they hit you with a door. It's a real possibility. 10th film was another rewatch, and that was High School Musical. I give this one a 5 out of 5 stars. High School Musical is where it all started, man. It's where Disney got good. It is their like most iconic and probably most well-known franchise from the Disney Channel original movies, and it's great. It's how we ended our Disney Channel marathon, and I loved it. I always love rewatching these because they're so simple, and I did not know this, but it basically, we looked it up and it's roughly based off Romeo and Juliet, and when Emily and I saw that, we went, how did we not know this? It's so obvious, but yeah, we didn't know. And then the 11th and final film that I watched this month was actually a documentary, and that was Miss Americana, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I love Taylor Swift. I've loved her for years, and watching this documentary, again, I watched it on my birthday, so I basically spent my birthday evening just crying because of Good Place and Miss Americana, but it was a fantastic documentary. We really got to see inside of her life and get to see the insides of her eating disorder, her relationship with Joe, her sexual assault case, her begging her team to let her post something about the politics that she was so passionate about, and it was just a really eye-opening experience to get to watch, and I loved every second of it. So there we go. Those are all of the movies and television shows that I watched in the month of January. There were quite a few, but you know, everything's fine. Or at least everything was fine before The Good Place ended. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you watched in the month of January, because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.